3 years later, I was given the news I was going totally blind because of a genetic eyesight disease that hit me and my brother Jeffrey. So I went totally blind. I thought, what can I do as a blind man? If I'm blind, I cannot live my dreams. Right up till the age of 50, I lived within the confines and the limitations of what blind people cannot do. At 50, my brother, also totally blind, living in Durban in South Africa, he built a yacht, a sailing boat in his back garden, told his friends, I'm going to sail this from Africa to Australia. Totally blind, totally alone, nobody else. Someone said, Jeffrey, you are not just a blind man, you are a stupid blind man, because blind people cannot do that. But he said, no, it's not impossible, it has just never been done before. That, my friends, he took 53 days sailing halfway around the world. He nearly died in the process, but he made it. And he said to me, Miles, if you are going to fulfill your potential, you have to start with your dreams, not your circumstances. I'm going to share some very quick life principles. I'm going to ask you to write some of them down. This is the first one. Start with your dreams, not your circumstances. My life was lived starting with the fact that I was blind. And my brother said, start with your dreams, not your circumstances. You, my friends, you entrepreneurs, people in whatever your personal and business situation now, you will never fulfill your potential if you start with your circumstances, with how much money you've got in the bank, with the economy. Forget about all that, start with your dreams. So I came back to England. I always wanted to be a pilot, so I learned to fly a microlight, a regular aeroplane, you call it an ultralight here. If I couldn't see, I thought, how can I fly? Well, my ears are good, so I thought if I had speech output on my flight instrument, I could fly. I had a sighted co-pilot. I'm now a fully qualified pilot. Decided to fly from London to Sydney. The night before I was due to leave, my co-pilot has a panic attack. He phones his wife and says, I'm not going to go. I'll die if I go with that silly blind man. So 10 o'clock at night, I have to find someone else willing to fly all the way to Australia with a blind man leaving tomorrow in the morning. I had something like 11 hours to find someone else to fly to Australia with me. This first video clip is what it was like when I actually arrived in Sydney 55 days later, having flown more than halfway around the world and nearly died a few times in the process. This is what it was like.
Slide 3, Sydney TV.
Behind him, and the world's most beautiful city is unseen beneath his wings. It doesn't matter. In his heart, Miles Hilton-Barber sees everything. The first blind man to fly across 21 countries in an oversized hang glider.
I can smell what's growing in the fields below the crops.
He navigated with talking instruments and co-pilot Richard Meredith Hardy, who stood in at the last minute.
I got this call. Would you like to fly a microlight to Australia starting tomorrow with a blind man? And, well, what can you say? He said yes!
They froze over the mountains of Lebanon, nearly crashed into cliffs in Malaysia.
Pouring with rain, the engine was bellowing, trying to cope with all the water going through it. Lightning flashes ahead of us.
He risked his life to raise money for blindness programs in third world countries.
Miles has also finished the world's toughest foot race, 250 kilometres across the Sahara. He's done the world's coldest marathon in Siberia, sledged 400 kilometres across the Antarctic, and he's climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
The only thing holding me back is 5 inches, and that's the distance between my ears. Attitude is what determines altitude.
He hopes Australia smells like a cold beer. Ella Callan, 7 News.
So, my friends, thank you. You and I have got two components, two parts to life. There is the life going on all around you, which you cannot control. Have you noticed that? You can't control what's happening out there, but the other part of your life is what's going on in your head and your heart. And you, my friends, have got total control over what goes on here and here. Is that right? Yeah. Are you still there? Yeah. Okay, usually when they're just a silly blind man, they go out very quietly, they drink a few beers, they just come back at the end to clap, you know, so have to check that you're still there. Well, So listen, my friends, I lived my life for many years, up until the age of 50, I lived my life knowing because I was blind, my circumstances out there were controlling my happiness, my potential for success. My brother said that is rubbish. Your potential for success is here. It's what is between your ears. It's not out there. You, my friends, if you're going to succeed in an entrepreneurial venture, it is not based on the economy out there. It's based on how you respond to the economy. The biggest potential for growth in Holland is here in this room. It's not out there. Stop waiting for the economy. I was wasting years waiting maybe for medical science or for God to heal me. Once I could see again, then I could be successful. I wasted years. Many of you are waiting for the economy to change before you can live your dreams and be more successful. That is nonsense. That is a victim mentality. You have got the choice here. So I've also learned the importance of not being afraid of doing things that frighten you. I'm afraid of height, and this is me abseiling down Table Mountain in South Africa, about 150 meters. I'm afraid of height. And my other basic fear is I'm also claustrophobic, so I'm afraid of small spaces and scuba diving. I was having panic attacks in 3 foot of water learning to scuba dive, but I learned to change the way I think. In English, the word fear, F-E-A-R, it stands for false evidence, appearing real. False evidence appearing real. You may like to write that down, yeah? So, you mustn't chat too much. I've only got 20 minutes, I've got to run. So, here's the big thing. You, my friends, some of you are being held back by phobias and fears, and you allow them to dominate and limit what you do. So I change. So, for example, scuba diving, instead of panicking and thinking, I've got to go 150 foot up to the surface, I'm thinking, the air I need is on my back. I've got an hour's supply of spare regulators. Change the way you think, and you can live totally differently. The last thing that frightened me a bit recently was drag racing. I always wanted to do some drag racing, and this is in England. This little motor car, it's just a little Honda Civic. It is a Type R. It's only 2 litres, but this chap managed to get over 800 horsepower out of a 2-litre engine. So this baby can get up to 250 kilometers an hour in 10 seconds, covering a quarter mile. But I've only driven twice in the last 35 years, so we had to practice. So we went down the airport runway. So the middle of the runway is number 5. So the guy is sitting next to me, and as long as I'm in the middle, he's shouting 5, 5, 5. If I start going to the right, it's 6, 6, 6, 4, 4. So that's how we do it. So here we are at this big day, I'm feeling quite confident. Then the man on the public address system says, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in world history, we have a blind man who's going to be driving. Stand well clear of the track. Stand clear, And I'm thinking, be quiet, don't tell him that. So then I was nervous. I said, I need the toilet. So I went to the toilet, have all these little urinals there, and I'm talking to Guy, and all of a sudden he said to me, go left, go left. I was missing the urinal altogether. I was so nervous. I've never done that in my life before. So anyway, as we come out of the toilet, he's saying, I can't believe it. You stupid blind man, you can't even pee into a toilet. I'm going to let you drive my car, So anyway, but it worked out not too bad. This is heating the tyres before we go. The drag marshal just checking that everything's okay. This is what it looks like inside. So he's yelling numbers. When the light goes green, I'm roaring it down. I'm trying not to miss the gears. I've got a 6-speed gearbox, listening to the engine revs. He's yelling numbers, but with my right arm, very gentle on the steering, because at 250 kph, half an inch, a few centimeters into the wall. So this is what it was like doing one of the runs.
It's like managerial.
Go.
Yeah, not too bad. We're not too far in this time, I think, with the weights and configuration. So that was great fun. I enjoyed that, and I was really excited because I even beat some sighted drivers who didn't have anyone sitting next to them, and I did a quicker time. So all of these are simply saying to you, don't be afraid of stepping outside your circle, doing things you've never done before. Draw a circle around where you're sitting now. That circle represents you, everything you've done in your life up until today. Now, when you do something new, like me, drag racing or abseiling, You are stepping outside your circle, into the unknown. But I used to think I would take that new experience and pull it into my circle, into my comfort zone. You can't do that because your circle is full of what you've done before. The only way that that experience becomes part of your life, your circle has to grow to make room for it. So every time I step outside my circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Here's a question. When was the last time you did something for the first time in your life? That was the last time that you grew. The last time your circle grew was when you stepped outside your circle and did something for the first time. That's common sense. If you are not growing your circle, you are vegetating. You are just recycling who you are. It's good to recycle cardboard. It's bad to recycle you. So big life lesson, never be... Is that true, isn't it? Yeah, you don't want to be like an old piece of cardboard or something. Never be afraid of stepping outside your circle and facing your fears. It's never as bad as you think. So after flying to Australia, I decided I wanted to fly in the aeroplanes I would have flown in the Zimbabwean Air Force, and these are the Hawker Hunters I would have flown. This chap he's with the red arrows, and he said he'd let me fly his aeroplane. Getting into the cockpit, a wonderful, emotional moment getting into that cockpit that I would have flown. Of course, I'm now blind as a bat, but he still let me fly the aeroplane. This brief video clip is from the Discovery Channel in Canada, doing a documentary, and this is what it was like me flying the Hawker Hunter.
It's a totally different experience from flying his ultralight.
Put your foot over the edge, Mark.
He can't even find his way into the cockpit.
The other side, that's it, lovely.
A quick overview of the controls and he's off.
So full of anticipation, lots of adrenaline.
3 Tango, we feel like now.
So that's me doing the takeoff.
Upside down, rolling, very good. Miles, I'm flying this as well as the size of the person. You're flying by yourself, I'm not touching it, okay? And kick force, here it comes. Okay. Relax in a second, relaxing, give that a look.
After a few minutes though, the wild ride starts to become a bit much.
I'm just getting a bit sick.
See, I had to do the landing while I was being sick, very bad landing.
He manages to hold himself together long enough to
It was a dream come true, much more real than I thought, just very amazing key forces. And I keep on saying to people, you can live your dreams. More and more I'm realizing that there are many sighted people in the world who are actually blind to their own ability, and I'm trying to give them vision. So my friends, that was a lovely experience. Then I decided I wanted to go supersonic. So I managed to fly in English Electric Lightning. This is in South Africa. This baby is much more powerful than the aircraft we see in Top Gun. I never normally wear dark glasses, but with a TV I had to do this, whipping the glasses off like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, you know. My children were very embarrassed, but you've got to do it when you have the chance. This aeroplane, the wingspan is only 2 foot longer than the wingspan of the microliner I flew to Australia, but it's very heavy, and you have to fly at least about 350 kilometers an hour, otherwise it will not fly. I became the first blind person to go supersonic, also the first blind person to vomit at supersonic speed. You know, which, so I can't. A lot of the stuff I can't change. But I went to the end of the runway, got up to about 600 kph, went vertical, and 90 seconds after takeoff, I was doing 2,000 kilometers an hour, more than 17,000 meters high, and it was wonderful. And this is just a brief clip of what the takeoff was like. There are, but you wouldn't want to watch me being sick, so anyway, but that was wonderful. By the way, the speed I was doing when I was doing 2,000 kph, it's like me flying over 5 football fields in 1 second. You know how big a football field is? It's an aeroplane flying over all 5 in 1 second, which was a wonderful experience. I've also learned the importance about having a lot of fun in life. Life is serious enough without you and I adding to it. This is me at the bottom of the Red Sea, 10 meters down. My friend in the wheelchair is paralyzed. He has no legs. And this is the only picture in the world of a blind man pushing a paralyzed man along the seabed using his right stick to find the way. You know? So, all of you should have a copy of that. That little card you've got there, so I've got the picture, and you see there on that little card, it says the only limits in your life are the ones that you accept yourself. This man, by the way, in the wheelchair, he drives his own motor car with hand controls. Not any motor car, he drives a 4.8-litre V12 Ferrari. This man's got serious attitude. You see, it's not what happens to you in life, it's what you do with what happens to you in life that determines your potential for success. Last year, I know you had Richard Branson. He's one of my heroes. He's a real doer. He does things, and he's an amazing man who lives his dreams. As you heard in the introduction, there are 4 simple steps. If you are going to fulfill your potential as an entrepreneur, as a business person, in anything area in your own personal life, 4 simple steps in stepping outside your circle. And by the way, afterwards, at the registration desk, I've got a few copies of an audiobook and another book which gives a lot more information of what I speak about. Number 1, start with your dreams. You're only as big as the dreams you dare to live. Don't tell me about the dreams you're going to do one day. What are you doing now? You're only as big as the dreams you are in the process of living now. Secondly, make a decision to live your dream. As I go around the world, I've spoken in something like 64 countries in the last 2 years. Everywhere I go, people have got dreams. Very few people are living them. You've got to make a decision to do that thing. You've always wanted to start your own business, do this, to do that. I want to say to you, I'm challenging you to make a commitment this year, in the next day or few days, make a decision to do that thing. All achievers in life are dreamers, but not all dreamers are achievers. Are you just a dreamer or are you an achiever? Entrepreneurs are people who make decisions all the time. So have a dream, make a decision. Thirdly, have a plan. This is when me as a blind person, once I've decided to be a pilot or scuba diver or mountaineer, once I've made that decision, now I come back to the planning. Now I think about how the heck can I do it because I'm blind. This is when you start, not with your bank balance, start with what you want to do as an entrepreneur. Once you've made that decision, now you come back, now you look at the economy, now you look at the bank balance, how the heck can I get from here to there? But if you start with the economy, if you start with your circumstances, like I used to start with my blindness, you wouldn't do these things. So you've got to start with your dreams and goals, and of course the last point is to persevere. Don't give up. When things go wrong, it doesn't mean to say you've got to give up. This last video clip is some of the things I've done since I turned 50. I'm now 61, still having the time of my life, but this is just some of the things I've done through stepping outside the circle, starting with my dreams and not my circumstances. It's the first blind man to fly the English Channel a few years ago. This is going across the Qatar Desert near Saudi Arabia. I've done 4 desert ultramarathons. This one we did 200 kilometers across the desert without resting or sleeping for 3.5 days, pulling a third of a ton of water, about 300 to 400 kilograms of water between 5 of us. This is me wing walking. I was afraid of height, so I'm on the aeroplane getting rid of my fear of height. This is Antarctica. You want to go somewhere where there's no McDonald's, no tourists? Great place to go. Put more volume, please. This is taking part in an Austrian air display. I was flying this Dornier 3-engine float plane, got to 100 meters above the water, started to do a 90-degree bend. The people behind the VIPs from Bentley writing watches, they saw a blind man flying, they began to vomit over their Armani suits. I was very proud of that because I do not own an Armani suit. This is a plane in the army having a race with an army general, first one into the water. Hot air balloon over the Hilton-Barber desert, had a bit of a crash, destroyed the basket, it was great fun. It's on the Malaysian Grand Prix circuit, racing around the track, hold the lap record, 120 mile an hour, 200 kph around the chicanes and things. We spun it a few times, but apparently I won the race, got the checkered flag, but I never got to see it. This is powerboat racing, 340 brake horsepower, great fun. Whitewater rafting down the Zambezi. I got sucked down the hill. I did 3 grade 5 series of rapids by rail without my mummy. It was very lonely. And this is cage diving with great white sharks off Cape Town. I said to the man, if I cannot touch one of those beasts, I won't believe they're there. You're just stealing money from a blind man. And I got you within 2 inches of one, nearly lost my hand in his jaws. My wife was able to catch her, but she forgot to take a picture. Going back to flying the channel at 2,000 meters over the French coast, French girls sunbathing topless. My co-pilot said, "Whee! Let's go down low, have a good look." I said, no, if I can't see, you can't see. We stayed high the whole time. He said, I was a killjoy. This is bobsleigh down the Olympic track in Lillehammer, Norway. Get up to more than 130 kilometers an hour in less than 1 minute, a little bit less while you thank you. And you're pulling 5 Gs around 17 corners. Much more shocking and violent than you realize when you just look at it on the television, but great fun. Scuba diving, I dive on rigs, 50 meters down now, I love doing that. This is a ski-doo racing in Norway, 150 horsepower, 0 to 100 kph, 3.2 seconds. Eat your heart out, guys. Doing 160 kph over the ice there. And this is doing the solo kamikaze skeleton run. I'm the only blind man who's done it. It was the most frightening thing I've ever done in my life. It's a great experience, and I'm hoping that I can encourage other blind people to come and do this as well. Apparently a lot of people do with their eyes shut, so it's not such a big deal, yeah. So my friends, what have I been saying today? If you are going to have this big improvement in your personal life, start with your dreams, not your circumstances. Get into the routine of stepping outside your circle. Don't be afraid of doing new things. False evidence appearing real. Face your fears. My homework for you, my challenge is for you to think about at least one new thing that you want to do in your life that you've never done before. Maybe to learn to play the piano or the saxophone, climb a mountain, run a marathon, go somewhere different on holiday, go back to university, whatever it is, make a decision to do it. Dream, decide, plan, persevere. Have a lot of fun along the way. And remember the importance, of course, of persevering. This is the last slide. This is the route that I took from London to Sydney 2 years ago. 43 years ago, I was told at the age of 18 when I could see I would never fly, I would never be a pilot. 2 years ago, I had the privilege of flying more than halfway around the world. Never let anybody tell you whether you can live your dreams or not, because the only limits in your life are the ones that you accept yourself. This is the big improvement day. It's your day. Get out there, have a good time. Thank you very much. And we've got just a couple of minutes for a few questions. Thank you so much for having me. You're a wonderful audience. And here's Dory.
Here I am, Mark. Let's go to the couch. And be careful, because it would be a disaster after all this adventure.